Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rizka Nujanti. My last rate number 025. Okay, this section I will answer the question about section 2. There are 5 questions for this section, but I just answer 2 questions. For question number 1, why should we learn the genesis of discourse analysis? Please explain your answer. For question number 1, I will answer this question. Yes, because the genesis is defined as the origin or the beginning of something. Discourse analysis has been linked with a wide range of disciplines. Therefore, the history of its development will vary according to the study with which discourse analysis interacts. However, it should be noted here that this section simply concerns itself with a general history of discourse analysis. The origin and historical development of discourse analysis will only be presented in general and relate to linguistics. I think this is my answer for question number 1. And for question number 2, do you agree with saying that development of discourse analysis theory is strongly influenced by the development of linguistic theory? Why? Please explain the reasons for your position. Well, I say yes because development of discourse analysis theory is strongly influenced by the development of linguistic theories. It could even be said that linguistic theory is the one that gives rise the theory of discourse analysis. Consequently, to see the process of how discourse analysis come into being in the study of linguistics itself, if we first examine the development of linguistic theories, since they cannot be separated from the genesis of discourse analysis. Linguistic theory have undergone 3 stages of development: traditional grammar, structuralism, and functionalism. I think that's all for my answer. I back to the leader.
Okay, I will answer the question number 3 about what do you know of traditional grammar theory. Please explain your answer to this question by referring to this thing. First, what is traditional grammar theory? What is the main principle of this theory? What do teachers who adopt the principle do in teaching a language? What are the product of this theory? What is the main shortcoming of this theory? What are grammar translation method and its relation traditional grammar theory? And my answer is are A. For the first question, traditional grammar constitutes a theory of grammar study which was introduced and developed by the 18th and 19th century in Europe. And the second, the main principle promoted by the theory is that grammar in this tradition reflects and perspective view that one dialect of variety of a language is to be valued more highly than others and should be the norm for all speakers of the language. And the C, the grammarians and language teachers hand in hand carried out a series of studies to indicate the types and category of common errors made by learners in English usage. And the next, the main shortcoming of this theory in the perspective approach, many linguists believe that teaching a language by using this approach wasn't strong enough to develop learners' language knowledge and skill because the focus was limited to the referred language, which consequently made the language knowledge of the learner isolated by components of the standard language. And the last question, um, the primary goal of the primary goal of French language teaching is to read text written in the French language, but no oral language. And the second, the dominant activity in the classroom is to translate the French language into one's mother tongue. Good translation becomes the key shift means measurement to judge a learner's success in foreign language study. And the third, learners take The key is to be able to communicate in the foreign language because oral language skill is not the target of this teaching method. The next teacher dominate the class while learners are required to write down every detail of information given by the teacher. And the next learners are encouraged to grasp language forms like pronunciation, vocabulary, and mainly grammar correctly. And the last, teachers are required to speak in foreign language during the class and correct every single error of language forms made by the learners. Maybe just all for me.
So, question number 4. What do you know of structuralism theory? Please explain your answer to this question by referring to these things. The first question: what is structuralism theory, and what does the sources say about the structure of language? Okay, the first question. Structuralism theory is about a static system of interconnected units in language examination. Use sign, signify, on signify to gain its meaning. The Caesar argued that language was formed by sign which finally produce parole, speech or utterance. The second question: what are the main principles of this theory? The main principles of this theory is structuralism focus on spoken language, then written language, employs descriptive approach and as a unified system as a whole. 3. What is informant method and what is its relationship to the structural theory? Informant method is a teaching method by employing the native speaker as the teacher and student learn how to speak and grammar by target language. Principle of structuralism produce the informant method. Okay, what are the characteristics of the method? Language is what is native speaker say. Drilling is a primary activity. Need a habit using the language. Teacher's language is a model for the learners learn foreign language. Communication, I said, after going through a long and finally the learners feel natural to express everything in foreign language. What is the shortcoming of this theory? This method does not really emphasize the teaching of culture. What is error analysis and what is relation to the structure theory? Error analysis is errors that are often made by learners in learning a foreign language, and the teacher must provide information that relationship to make correct sentence structure.
Oke, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Hardianti Pratiwi. Okay, well, thanks for this chance has given to me. I will answer the question of number 5, consists of 5 parts. Okay, the question is, what do you know of structuralism theory? Please explain your answer to this question by referring to these things. Okay, the first part is, what is functionalism theory and what does Chomsky say about language? Okay, the answer is, functionalism theory is known as an approach to language learning which is related to learning the function carried out by the use of language. Well, what Chomsky said about language itself is competence, where it is a concept that said by Chomsky into discussion about the use of language, both second and foreign language learning at that time, developed by him into communicative competence. Therefore, it is said that communicative competence is developed in sociolinguistics as a linguistic subdiscipline. Okay, the second question is, what are okay for the first question is what is CLT method and its relation to functional theory? functionalism theory? Okay, the answer is CLT, or communicative language teaching, is the method to use teaching learning in classroom. The emergence of the theory of communicative approach to language is deemed as the cornerstone of functionalism theory coming to being. Okay, for the last question is, what the relationship between discourse analysis and functionalism theory? Um, the answer is functionalism theory is known as an approach to language study that is concerned with studying the function performed by language use at first language as a communication system of components of form and function that must be learned by learners as a unified knowledge. Okay, maybe that's all for me. Thanks for attention.